Hey guys, this is the official first episode of Night of the Batman. Today we're going to be covering, I thought it'd be fitting since it is the first episode, we cover Batman's first ever appearance, Detective Comics number 27, aka The Case of the Chemical Syndicate. And you said you were going to do the summary. I'm with Amanda today.
Hello, I'm Amanda.
Sorry, kind of steamrolled over
Yeah,
that. Didn't mean to.
yeah. Um, yeah, so I can start it off. I don't remember names because,
Do you want me to? I got them
I
on the
well,
thing.
I can start and you can interject names.
Okay, hold on. I'll pull that up while you're just
Okay.
go ahead
So
and
it kind of starts with Commissioner Gordon smoking and just hanging out with his young socialite friend, Bruce Wayne.
that
Um
was weird, right?
yeah.
Like and keep going. We'll get more into like the weird stuff, but it's a
So
weird introduction.
So Bruce is asking if anything interesting's happened, and Gordon's like, well, nothing really, other than the Batman with a hyphen. Um, then Gordon immediately gets a phone call because somebody had been murdered.
Oh, Lambert.
Lambert, Mr. Lambert, had been murdered in his mansion, and his son's fingerprints were on the knife. So they mosey on over, not mosey, they rush with haste to the crime scene. For some reason, Gordon takes Bruce with him, even though that makes no sense whatsoever.
That was
Because
weird. Like it was like one of those things where like first off, if you're like any kind of police officer, especially a commissioner, you don't need to be discussing like the details of like a crime scene, and you really don't need to be bringing someone who has zero expertise in criminal stuff or anything. Like he's not a detective. Well, we don't know it yet because it's a secret, but like he's not a detective or anything. What's he doing there?
I know too many cops in real life who do just talk about
But
cases.
they don't bring their friends to like a crime scene.
Fair enough. No, they just talk about cases that they shouldn't be talking about.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not like, hey, let's go check out this murder. It's like that was really bizarre, and I don't know if it was just during a time when they didn't,
Care.
not that they didn't care. It's like that they just weren't. I don't even know. Like the internet didn't exist, so there wasn't a way to quickly look and like research stuff like that. So maybe for the story, he was just like, oh, he just brought like I know story wise why Bruce needed to be there, but like
Yeah.
logically, there's no logical reason why he was there.
Yeah. So they get there, they find out, like they do it, they inspect the crime scene. Then they go to talk to Lambert's son, and Lambert's son's like, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. I just got home and I heard a sound and I found my father with a knife stuck in him, so I took the knife out. And then he mutters, contracts, contracts, and dies. And my thing is, I feel like everybody knows this, but maybe not everybody knows this. You don't take, if you have a wound with like something stuck through you, you do not take the thing out. So if you get stabbed, you leave the knife in.
Well, he's already
You know?
dead.
No, he was dying.
Oh, he was dying.
And his son took the knife out. Because like it keeps pressure on it, and so it keeps it from bleeding out as much. So if you get impaled by something, you leave what is impaling you in you until you can get to a hospital. And I feel like that's common knowledge, right? Like,
Yeah, and it also was saying that like he had like business partners too, which are like Stephen Crane, Alfred
oh,
Stryker, and
those
Paul
weren't mentioned
Rogers.
yet.
Well, I was just saying because that's like the next thing that happened.
Yeah, because like they get a call while they're talking to the son, and it's one of his business partners.
Stephen Crane.
It's Stephen Crane, and he's afraid he's gonna get murdered. So they go to his house, um, and
They're too late.
they're too late. Not Batman. Bruce had split by then. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go home. Peace out." And Batman showed up at Crane's house and
How's it
caught
spelled? It's different than it normally is, or how Batman is put like
with a
the actual
hyphen.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
interesting.
And so they show up, right? at Crane's house. So Crane's already been shot
Mm-hmm.
by the time Batman gets here there. So he wrestles away this contract because if you notice, so at the first house they had also stolen something out of the safe, and then second house they had stolen a contract out of the safe. So Batman gets the contract, he reads it, he's like, oh, and he darts off to this other place. Um, Commissioner Gordon,
Well, actually, what happened in that was the murderer gets out of the house and is holding the contract, and then they run into Batman.
yeah,
Yeah, but you said they went somewhere
well,
else.
yeah, well, Batman leaves after he gets the contract.
Well, no, he. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to keep it all straight.
Yeah, so after he gets contract, Batman like pieces out. He heads somewhere mysterious. And then we get a scene later about the other two business partners.
Um, hold on. They go to Alfred Stryker's house.
Yeah, Stryker and
Jennings is his
Jennings.
assistant.
No, the other one, the other business partner, the fourth business partner.
Um, Rogers.
Rogers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul
So
Rogers.
you see Rogers and Jennings talking, and then Jennings like attacks Rogers and eventually takes him down to this laboratory, and he's gonna try to gas him.
Yeah, gas chamber.
And he says that he uses the gas chamber on guinea pigs to do experiments, and now Rogers is going to be his guinea pig.
What
So
kind of experiments is he doing with the gas chamber? It's just like, is this experiment like seeing how like any living thing reacts to that? Because it sounds like he's just killing the animals down there. It's like, what kind of experiment are you doing? I'm pretty sure it's just gonna kill him.
yeah. So Batman shows up right as he's lowering the gas chamber, gets into the gas chamber. So it's like a cylindrical glass gas chamber. Glass gas chamber. That is a hard sentence to say. I digress. So Batman gets in there with a crowbar. He stops up the little gas nozzle, breaks out, not a crowbar, a wrench.
With like a handkerchief and chief, and the only reason I bring that up is because it feeds into something I'm going to bring up after we sum up the story.
Okay. So he breaks the glass to get out. Batman is like tells those like solved mystery.
Yeah.
And then Stryker shows up and tries to get his friend and kill him because he didn't see Batman. Batman stops him. Eventually, he accidentally gets knocked off and falls into a vat of acid. And Batman looks at Rogers and is like, fitting in for a man like him.
Or for his kind.
For his kind. And that just rubbed me the wrong way, by the way. So then you get the next scene is Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne again. And then Bruce Wayne leaves.
He talks to him about what happened with Batman, like his caper.
Yeah. And then and you see it's talking about Bruce's house, and the very last shot is the Batman in Bruce's house. And it's like, because the Batman is Bruce Wayne, or Bruce Wayne is the Batman.
Yeah. What'd you think of that? Like
I think I would have been more impressed if I had not grown up in the 20th century and the 21st century, where Bruce Wayne as Batman is like a household, like common household knowledge.
It's kind of like in Star Wars with like the Empire Strikes Back, where if you grew up when that movie first came out, then like the whole Luke, I am your father thing, or actually it's no, I am your father, but like that whole twist was like really crazy. But because of pop culture now, it's just like, well, yeah, like we all obviously know that now. But yeah, like I don't know if that people back then were really like shocked by it or anything, because I feel like unless you're like a little kid, like I feel like you kind of put the pieces together. It's like, okay, like this dude that like story wise you start wondering like, okay, like this guy why is he like hanging around all these crime scenes with like his buddy kind of thing. I also like on a side note, like a weird side note, I kind of like how Commissioner Gordon looks in this. Like I really like the whole like slick back hair and like this the suit and everything. It looks kind of cool.
He looked like a sleazy businessman. I didn't like it, but to each their own.
I mean, like I don't know. We just don't normally we don't see like Commissioner Gordon all like usually he looks like he's about to fall apart because he works in like a
Yes.
city like that.
We love a man who's about to fall apart.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, and then I guess you didn't like the whole killing thing.
No, no, Batman. So I also though I'm a firm believer that Batman doesn't kill. If you have a Batman and he kills, I think you don't understand Batman at his core. Granted, this is early Batman, so Batman wasn't really fleshed out. He wasn't the Batman that like we all know and love because the character isn't created in just one story. Not a
Yeah.
character like that. Not in a 7-page story. I
Well, I know that, and I explained this to you before, is that like this Batman owes a lot to the Shadow, which was like a pulp hero at the time that um was kind of like similar in a lot of ways. Like he was also like he posed as a socialite, he actually wasn't. But he took up an identity of like a friend as like a rich person and would like, put on the whole costume and everything. And this actually is kind of like a ripoff of a Shadow story. And I guess if you want, we can go ahead and go into it's kind of one of those first appearances. So for me, it's kind of hard to review. I'm like, it's just always been there for me. Like whenever I got into comics again, like right there, the Batman Chronicles book I have was like one of the first like compilation type things I got when I was younger. And I don't know, it's just one of those things like is the story like amazing or anything? No, it's just kind of like your run of the mill like mystery kind of thing. And I was out also thinking, I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to have this turned into like a radio play or something. But there was like actually Batman wasn't really an original character when you got down to it. Like there's a lot of stuff from there was a story about the Shadow called Partners in Peril where they basically just liberally like took from it and Bill Finger acknowledged that he did that.
yeah.
And he came up with the mostly how Batman looks and everything. Bob Kane just came up with the name Batman and the kind of like I don't know if you noticed this when you were reading it, but his cape looks kind of different or it's drawn kind of differently. Like if you look right here, I'm showing her an image. Like right there, like it's kind of more like a wing type suit thing than it is like an actual cape.
Well, I feel like in most of the animated things, so it has that like that the like vibe of a wing. Like it's like the reverse of a scallop.
Yeah, but like Bob Kane claims that the reason why the cape looks like that is he modeled it off of Da Vinci's like airplane thing or the
The
whatever it was.
person,
You know what I'm talking about, the little there's like a famous thing that Da Vinci did where he drew like a wing thing to like it's like a flight thing. I can show
oh,
you.
oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was like I was like, please like back me up on this. But yeah, like and there was like I said earlier, Bob Kane, like no shock to anyone if you're a fan of Batman, Bob Kane's kind of a hack, but he like would trace or would take like images from other things and like pass it off as his own work, which I don't know if it was ever really accepted back then, but it was a lot harder because a lot of the pulp stuff back then, like they didn't have a lot of money anyway. This is just me like assuming stuff, but I'm like, they didn't have a lot of money. So like probably like if stuff was like ripped off like that, it'd be a lot harder to prove back then. And like,
Hmm.
honestly, a lot of stuff was stealing from a lot of other stuff back then. It was
Uh,
more common.
I mean, did they even really have plagiarism laws?
I'm sure they
Yeah.
did.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because like I know plagiarism wasn't like a thing for a very long time. Like in medieval times, it was like the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever read the Canterbury Tales, none of those are originally Geoffrey Chaucer's tales. They're all like retellings of like other stories. And I think that there's no original ideas. So, you know,
Yeah, and also the Partners in Peril story, the one I mentioned, that was like a shadow thing. Um, Literally in that story, there's it mentions bats on several different occasions, and it also is a crime thriller focused on investigation of a chemical syndicate murders. So like not really, basically
Oh,
like a big ripoff of what
we didn't talk about why he was killing off his business partners.
to so he didn't have to share any of the money.
Yeah, basically they all had private contracts where he paid them X amount of money. Um, and the only people who knew about the contracts were the four of them. So he was gonna kill them off and steal the contracts.
Yeah, but anyway, what I was saying is like another thing, like the scene we mentioned earlier. Remember, I told you like I'm gonna bring up the gas chamber thing later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Literally verbatim. I'll show this on the video version, but look at that right there, where it's talking about like he used the handkerchief, and then look, that's like from that story right there that it ripped off, where it's like a handkerchief was stuffed into the orifices of the hollow pipe. He balled it and jammed it so that it fitted tightly as possible.
Hmm.
It's like they literally just verbatim stole it. And there's also illustrations in that book where like there was a gas tank that he Bob Kane just kind of drew and ripped off from those illustrations in the Shadow book. But yeah, it's just one of those things like it's interesting to me that like to see like obviously now that character has become more original with like other writers and stuff to kind of fill in things, but it started from a place of being like mostly like kind of a ripoff,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I don't think Superman was like that. Like I'm sure he's inspired by other things, but as far as I know, like that story was like mostly wholly original.
You know what story was wholly original? What
What?
character was wholly original?
What?
Spider-Man.
Eh,
Don't air me. He is the first teenage, like, not sidekick, like the first teenage superhero.
yeah,
And that was his whole shtick. And I love that.
but yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I'm a Spider-Man girly,
this
by the
is a
way.
Batman show, but anyway, there's like some other images, like stuff that wasn't necessarily from this, but like the more you go down that rabbit hole and kind of look, you realize it's like, yeah, there wasn't really anything original in this story. Also, another interesting thing, whenever like a lot of like you said earlier, like the character wasn't fully formed, like a lot of the pieces of like even his world, like it wasn't even called Gotham early on. Like they just named it New York. Like it was just New York.
Huh.
Yeah, which is
I
interesting.
don't like that.
Well, it was before like they thought let's give him his own original city. Like it was just kind of like I'm sure like back then like they didn't take it as seriously as they do now with like creating comics. Like back then they were just like, okay, like I'm gonna make this thing. How much will you pay me to make this thing? Okay, I'll make this thing. Like it was just a job.
Yeah.
And
Not a passion project.
yeah, no. And Bill Finger even admitted that he ripped off that Shadow story. She's making faces at the camera. She's been doing it this whole time.
I'm yawning.
But
Not because I'm bored, but because I am tired.
yeah, but anyway, that's why I was like I can't keep pausing is because she keeps making faces. We're recording this through Zoom. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of Batman killing either. And a lot of people, because like in a few issues in his early years he killed, like a lot of people will use that as justification for in the movies whenever he kills, like to be like, see, he did these in these early comics. I'm like, but that's only like a small part of that character's history. You gotta look at like the years after that where that wasn't the case, not just a few issues early on when that was.
I mean, I think that like with comics, the first few issues, they're just finding the character's footing, so they're not like fully fleshed out characters.
Yeah.
And so they don't have their whole backstories together. They don't have everything figured out. So you end up needing to retcon some things and like figuring out moral obligations and driving forces. Like, you don't know why Batman is Batman in this comic. You don't know that his parents died. because he like you don't know any of that. Because you don't know that, you don't have an understanding of the character. You just know, oh, he's this big rich guy who likes to go beat up guys.
Yeah, I don't think they cared back then either. Like, I think they were just probably just like they weren't looking into like deeper meanings or anything. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, I gotta make this story. There's this other thing that I read recently that I can kind of just rip off a little bit and use as a story because yeah, I think like back then they weren't really thinking of deeper meaning of character development or anything. It was just these are mostly for kids and people that are like illiterate and stuff is the thing that they would say. They would say like it's either for kids or for adults that like have like they said this like learning disabilities and stuff. And so, like, it's like they weren't really, I mean, even the old Spider-Man stuff, like, it does have a little bit of like more complexity to it, but it's like it's nothing compared to like now. That's why it's so revolutionary. Is back then, like, stories were just like superhero stuff, especially, it was just point A to point B. It wasn't really about the characters, it was just about, it was more plot driven than it was character driven.
And a lot of them were about making political statements.
Yeah, like Superman like early on is very different than Superman is now. Like he was more of a crusading hero back then, which is kind of interesting because for a while there during the war and stuff, he turned into more of like a status quo, like almost like an authority figure kind of
Yeah.
thing. And Batman did too, which is what's so cool about these early stuff is they're kind of like very much taking from like the pulp like heroes back then where it's like kind of like those dark like mysteries and stuff. It was just interesting to see that side of him. And then I know at some points through the character's history he like even has a police badge at some points. It
Oh, I hate that. That's so gross.
yeah, it just reflects the times that it was made
Yeah.
in.
I can I say it?
Well, I guess.
That no, you gave me a face. I won't say it.
Mm. Well, it's just not like it's not really what we're talking about. But did you like that? I know you're not really a big Batman fan. Did you like the issue overall? Like,
It was a pleasant read.
yeah.
Not the worst thing I've read this year.
Yeah, she's not really a big Batman fan.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine because like I would rather have someone on that like I always say like doesn't know a lot so that way we could actually talk about it. So it's not like somebody that's just like, well, I know all this because then it's not really much of a podcast.
Can I
But
poke fun at you for a bit?
I'm not done
Oh,
doing the thing.
okay.
What are you talking about poking fun at me?
I was gonna say, who's your favorite superhero?
Probably Batman.
How many Batman tattoos do you have?
It's just like it's so like generic to have a Batman tattoo though.
Answer. He
What
has none. How many Flash tattoos do you have?
one?
Oh, no, you.
This isn't a flash tattoo, it's just a lightning bolt.
What colors are in it?
That's just because that's what the guy wanted to do. I didn't want it to necessarily look like this. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. The
I'm
other thing,
sorry.
you're okay. We're just talking, but don't make this podcast awkward. But
How am I making it awkward?
I don't know
I don't know.
because you're like interrupting me. But
I'm your wife. It's my job.
the other thing is that you know how he knocked the guy off the thing into the gas chamber thing,
Into
or was it
the
acid? It
acid.
was acid,
Yeah,
right?
it made me think of the Two Face.
No, Joker was what I was gonna say.
Oh,
There later on, in comics, like somebody retconned that this story, as the person that he knocked in there was actually the Joker, which is kind of a cool origin. Like I don't know. I wish they would do that more. That's kind of like a cool way to tie in. Like I don't know if this was his first mission. It gives the impression of being his first year though. Like he's still kind of new to the job, kind of thing.
yeah. I honestly think that like the early Batman stuff should be read as his first year because like it. I don't know. Like the opening. Let me read you the opening little thing. Where is it? Let me flip. Apologies. Okay. The Batman with a hyphen, a mysterious figure, a mysterious and adventurous figure fighting for righteousness and apprehending the wrongdoer. In his lone battle against the evil forces of society, his identity remains unknown. Like, I don't know. I think that if he's not really, he's also like Gordon refers to him as like being new on the scene too. I think at one point. So I think the story is definitely meant to imply that he's a relatively new figure that has appeared in the city.
Yeah. I know that did you notice anything different about his costume other than like the cape and everything?
It just looked like Batman.
You didn't notice anything about like the gloves he was wearing?
They just looked like Batman.
He had purple gloves.
Okay.
You didn't notice that?
No,
It's like it stands
I
out. Like
well,
literally everybody that talks about like early Batman like always notices the purple gloves.
I when I read comics, I don't look at the photos a lot. I just kind of read the dialogue.
Except they're miscolored here because like they're blue here and other things will be purple. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
just I read the dialogue. I'm sorry.
you're good. But and then this one like sometimes they miscolor it to where he just doesn't have gloves at all.
Ew.
But like I kind of like you. It's just he
That
doesn't
looks
wear
gross.
gloves.
No, it looks gross.
What do you mean it looks
That the
gross?
flesh color they use, it looks gross. Like his bare hands, it's gross.
It's just kind of weird.
He's just out there like free hand in the world, no protection,
You're silly.
fingerprints getting everywhere.
They didn't really, did they dust for fingerprints back then?
Yes,
Like
remember
all the way back then? Was that forensics
his
were a
fingerprints
thing?
are on the knife.
That's right. Okay, I forgot that. It's sorry guys. I started a new job recently, so I'm kind of tired all the time.
And I'm kind of mean to him, so I wear him out a lot.
Yeah, you've been bullying me this whole episode. I'm just trying to do an episode over here.
I love you. Don't leave me.
We're trying to do a show here. I might have to re-record all of this.
Why?
This episode's been kind of a train wreck.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Mm. But yeah, like that's I might have you on again in the future. I know that you were saying that like you're not really into Batman that much.
It's okay. It'd be like that.
What do you mean? Do you want to be on the show or not?
I want you to be happy.
I just want somebody that's like consistently on. By the way, guys, like not I won't take just like random strangers. Like if anyone out there wants to be on future episodes, just let me know. We can arrange stuff. You don't have to have a fancy mic or anything, just like anything. It's cool. I'm open to having guests on. So if anyone out there listening to this wants to be on, just let me know. What?
I have ideas of who I want you to have on here that I think would be really
We'll talk
funny.
about it off mic.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off the mic. I think it'd be great.
But yeah, like overall, I thought it was like a solid first like attempt at like a Batman story. Like it's classic. I don't really have that many critiques of it other than, you know, being a blatant rip off of another story. But
And killing.
well, yeah, but that's just something I've learned. You haven't seen the worst though. There's like I told you earlier, future stories where like he hangs like these people that are like these giants that Hugo Strange turns into like giant mutant people, and he says like, "Oh, they're it's better this way," is what he was saying as he like kills them.
I mean,
Oh, okay. So earlier you had a problem with them killing,
well, they're
and
not people at that point.
yes, they are. He doesn't know that they can't be cured.
Can they be cured?
He doesn't know.
Are they people at that point? Are they like capable of like
I'm pretty sure they
empathy?
could be cured.
Are they capable of rational thought?
Okay, so someone that's on drugs or something, or like, 'cause that's basically what it is. Like he injects them with some sort of serum.
Oh, like Bane, but like the Batman and
Well,
Robin
who knows
version
if
of
it
Bane.
doesn't wear off? It might have if they weren't murdered. Like, who knows what the lifespan of that particular injection is?
I'm gonna compare this to an anime. That's like saying you need to save all the Titans in Attack on Titan
I don't really know that show, so I can't really make a judgment call on it.
because they were once people who would then lose their free will and are turned into monsters who just kill things for funsies.
well, we're not really going to get in a deep debate about this today because this episode would be like 2 hours long or something. And I mean, if you want, we can cover those other stories and talk about because in the future, that one story, like that's what led the one I mentioned earlier. That's what led to the editor at the time being like them easing up on the whole killing thing because they're like, hey man, like kids are reading this, you need to kind of ease up a little bit.
Can we do the game, the Gotham Knights game with a K, not night like night, like
I have to get a
nighttime?
PS5. Yeah.
Mind.
If you want to get me a PS5, I'd be happy to play it,
With
but
what money?
huh?
With what money?
You get money, you get paid soon. But anyway, yeah, in the future we're gonna review novels, probably do some games, do some fan films, some fan fiction stuff. What's that?
We're gonna play the Batman game, but we have to record it. Record it.
What Batman game?
The Batman game.
You mean Batman Arkham
No,
Asylum?
the Batman
Oh,
game.
the board game?
Yes, the Batman game.
Yeah, we'll do that in the future too. I got some plans, but yeah, not a bad first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely we'll get more polished over time, but overall not a bad like real first episode. So I know we did episode 0, but that was more just setup, letting you guys know what the show was gonna be. But yeah, anyway, I haven't really thought of like way to outro this yet, so I guess I'll just do the standard like I'm Alex.
I'm Amanda, and we hope to see you back at Night of the Batman.
That's not bad. I might workshop that a little bit. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. All right. Yeah.